Hi, I'm Anthony. Welcome to the Cosmic Path. Today, I want to look at ways that we can find joy in our lives through astrology and the horoscope, and how we can get clues as to where we can discover joy and integrate joy into our lives. We're living in a challenging time at the moment, and there's so much uncertainty. There's a lot of fear around, there's a lot of anxieties, and people are also being asked to distance from each other, which is creating more barriers and more walls between people, which creates more layers, and that goes on to create less joy. So I want to look at ways that we can tap into joy, so that way we can look into our horoscope and find little keys and little clues as to where we might be able to bring more happiness into our lives. And so really the main areas that we want to look at when we're looking at the horoscope when it comes to joy is the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter. And we're also looking at the fifth house and the 11th house when we're looking at the attainment of happiness, the creation of joy. And really what we're trying to do here is, when you're familiar with your horoscope, you can look at where these points sit in your chart. These are the glyphs for them here. This is Venus, Jupiter, the Sun, and that's for the 11th and 5th house. And so what we can do is we can look at Venus, Jupiter, and the Sun and where they are positioned in your chart, what houses they're in. Let's say, for example, that Venus or Jupiter is in your 4th house. Then you might look to ways that you can create joy through your family. You might look to ways that you can create joy within your home life and your home itself. Let's say that it was in the 11th house or the 10th house. You might look to ways that you can create joy with your career or by getting involved in groups with people. So these give us clues. The positions of these planets in our chart give us clues as to where we can find joy and happiness. And Venus being one of those planets where we find joy and happiness gives us a really big clue as to happiness and joy in a general sense, because Venus is the planet that we look at when we look at relationships and when we look at love and connection. And so the big clue there is that regardless of what our tendencies are, if Venus is showing up, which it will for everybody, that means that we can discover joy through other people and our relationships with other people. And I think this really reinforces the value of relationships, because without our relationship to another person, we can't actually fully know who we are without that other person to mirror back to us sometimes the things we don't like, but also the things that we love about life. And so if we look to Venus in our chart, we can find then ways that we can bring joy through relationships and connections with other people. And with the 5th and 11th house, we might find other planets placed in there, and then we can look to those planets and say, okay, this is how I can bring joy into my life. So for example, if you had Mercury in the 5th house, then you might look to ways that you can bring about joy through communications and connection with people, possibly also through connecting with children or having lots of fun and creativity, because these are the ways that we can tap into the 5th house. But also with the placement of Mercury, we would be looking at ways that we can do it on a more mental level. We would be looking at ways that we could do it through communication and discussion and connecting with people in our social groups as well. So really, the astrological horoscope can bring about so much insight and clarity, and these are ways that you can find joy in your life. And especially through these difficult times, I think it's really important for us to be able to identify things that make us happy. And maybe sometimes you can't just think of something off the top of your head, because maybe you haven't been happy for a period of time. Maybe you've forgotten what happiness and joy looks like. So then we can look at the horoscope and we can say, okay, where can I find it? Where can I tap into it? What experiences what situations, what people can I introduce into my life to help me tap into joy and happiness? And really, I believe that right now, with the current situation in the world, with so much fear and anxiety and uncertainty, happiness and joy is our key to being able to raise our vibration and bring ourselves into a better state individually and collectively. And so the more we can tap into happiness and joy now, even if it feels a little bit uncomfortable, the more we can raise our vibration and move into the better world that we're choosing to create and that we have the opportunity to create right now. So I hope that this has been of some sort of assistance to you. If you're feeling down, or if you're feeling uncertain, or if you're looking to create a bit of joy, then look at these guys in your chart. Look at where the placements are. Look at what's happening in the 11th and 5th house, and you can discover clues as to what situations you can create in your life to help bring about joy. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.